Hey folks, Mr. Dell here. We are looking at a problem that is looking at the distance between two numbers, specifically in terms of absolute value, using that as a way of finding distance. Okay, so this is from CPM, and this is course 2, and this is section 3.2.1, specifically number 3-29. So it says absolute value can be thought of as the distance between a number and zero, but it can be thought of as a distance between two non-zero numbers as well. So if I'm looking for distance between two numbers, right? And in this case, I have my numbers. If I want to play, so let me back up. Absolute value by itself. I said, what is the absolute value of -6, right? Absolute value of just a single number. We know the shortcut is the absolute value of anything is always positive. But what absolute value does mean is it does mean distance. So on a number line, if I'm at -6, I want to know what is the distance from -6 to 0. That's what this is saying. What's the absolute value of -6 to 0? What is that distance from here to here? Well, distance is always measured as a positive value, right? We always have distance to be a positive value. So that's the definition of absolute value and what it's used for. But not only can I find the distance or the absolute value of a single number, thinking about its distance from that number to 0, I can use absolute value to find the distance between two numbers. So let's explore that. Place the points 8.6. So 8.6 would be on your number line. Well, my number line doesn't go to 8.6. I'll just extend it here. Make that 9. So 8.6 would be right there, approximately. And then 3.4. So 3.4 would be a little less than half, right about there. So what is the absolute value distance between these two? And how can you tell? So to find the absolute value, to find the distance, you want to find the difference between the two numbers, right? I want to find what is the difference between these two numbers. So what does that look like? Well, distance is always positive, so I'm going to just write it as the absolute value of 8.6 minus 3.4. Okay, that's the distance between the two numbers, and that's how we would signify it as absolute value, the distance between 8.6 and 3.4. So when I do the math here, 8.6 minus 3.4 is 5.2. So that equals 5.2. So the distance from here to there is 5.2, right? And we can look at it as 1, 2, 3, 4 plus a little bit there makes that 1.2 extra, so that 5.2. Are you with me? All right. So now what does it say? Use the number line to find the absolute value, the distance between these two values. So I now want to, let me get a different color here. I want to find the distance between -6.72, which is right about here. That's -6.72. And then 4.13, which would be right about here. So what is this distance from there to there? Okay. So again, distance between two values, you'd use subtraction and write them as an absolute value. So I can take the absolute value of 4.13 minus -6.72. That right there would give me my distance between those two. Okay. If I want to subtract the other direction, I can as well, as long as I'm using those absolute value symbols to show that you're going to have a positive answer. So in this case here, my distance, when I talk about subtracting a negative, it all becomes actually addition. So this is the absolute value of 4.13 plus 6.72. So again, I'm showing the distance between these 2 points on a number line. So when I add those values up, I get 10.885, 10.85. And absolute value of 10.85 is positive 10.85. So there is my distance. Okay, there we go.